All right. Let's go Tuesday night. Rock and roll. Welcome, welcome. Another crazy edition, this week's edition of what the heck's going on in the world of real estate? Well, it's just that you never know. It's pretty much the same thing, but maybe a little worse, a little different, but it's always crazy. And this week is no different. 56,000 people backed out, buyers backed out of their contracts this week, in June, not this week, in June. And we're going to talk about that. Redfin published a report about that. We're going to dig into that, talk about it. And I got a guest. So we're going to bring the guest on. We're going to have our conversations. On the back half of this show, we're going to dig into a few comments, specifically on commissions. A lot of people have a lot of questions about the commission video I posted. So we're going to dig into that. As always, if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to drop a comment down below. I try to answer the comments and reply as much as I can. As they come in, sometimes it's a little overwhelming, so I apologize. There's a little bit of a delay. But why don't we just bring on my awesome guest? So this, she's been on this show before. She's a good friend of mine, and coming all the way. I'm in Massachusetts, and sure she's flying the magic bus all the way up from Massachusetts from Texas, good old Texas. And I'll bring her right on. Come on now, Mrs. Angie Ufamata. Let's go.
Hey y'all.
Hey. Yeehaw. Let's go.
Yeehaw.
Sorry. I'm such a dork. Hi. How y'all doing? Angie?
How y'all doing? I'm tipping my hat to
everybody.
Right? You did. How y'all doing?
There you go. My ridiculous Massachusetts. What's worse than a northeaster like trying to be Texas? Like, I'll let you all do that.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Oh man, you guys I was down there in June, visiting my brother down the Austin area, and it's like, so it is legit, like it's different, and people are, I admit, are friendlier.
Mm-hmm.
I get back into Massachusetts, fly into Logan, and it's I'm like, I'm home.
Give me a translator. Next time I need to translate like a little book. What does this mean? This grunt means what?
That means get the heck out of the way. Mind your own business. Where's the Duncan?
Right. Mind your own business. There you go.
Oh man. Hey, so Angie, we got news, right? That we got housing market news. That's not about Austin.
You guys have no idea how excited I am to be talking about something other than my city right now. Okay. There's other big news happening. And so we're going to get right into it. So I'm excited about that part. We're not in the hot seat, everybody. Okay.
Yeah, for once, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and I actually read a report that yesterday that said Austin actually was like things were actually settling down. That it's not the free fall is not as bad, and things are actually like settling down, and buyers are kind of taking advantage of that as sellers are bringing the prices down and stuff. So so it wasn't it's kind of nice to kind of sink into the background, right?
Well, it's nice to not be in this whole crashy situation, right, where you're putting a lot of anxiety on people and all this kind of stuff, which I kind of knew, right, because we're local. This is why real estate is so local. Yep. The fact that we're in a calmer place, that doesn't mean home prices have dramatically decreased into a certain amount. No, it just means, honestly, we've gotten a grip on the market, for buyers and sellers. Now, that's not to say that we don't have other things that are going on, like weather issues, which some other states have too, and stuff like that, that may be holding us back a bit, but we're calm for now.
We'll just take it. We'll take it, right? Mm-hmm. Like a friend of mine, a mutual friend of mine says, we yearn for precedented times, and then unprecedented times. I'm sick and tired. It's like, can we just have boring, please? I just want boring. I just want to wake up and be like, everything's the same as it was, and it's uneventful. I'll take it.
Give us a little Groundhog Day is what you're asking, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Let's dig into it, shall we?
Okay, let's go.
I want to get into this article, this Redfin article, and kind of dissect it, get your thoughts on it, and all the stuff. So this is hot off the press, July 23rd, which is, I don't know what the heck date that was. It was last Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Cold feet buyers back out of deals at record rate in June. as home prices hit an all-time high. Can't wait to see what they say about July. It's been quiet in July.
Yeah.
It's always quiet in July. Always.
People are gone. They're on vacation.
It's next to December. I think it's one of the quietest months of the year.
That's
right.
True.
Says deals to purchase homes are falling through at record rate. I love how they say this. At record rate, as high housing costs give buyers cold feet. To be honest, you could see this coming a mile away, right?
For sure.
Nearly 56,000 home purchase agreements were canceled in June, equal to 14.9% of homes that went under contract that month, the highest percentage of any June on record. So if we think about that for a sec, Angie, like any June on record, like there's some significant stuff that happened during the great financial crisis, right? 07. To say, it's been the lowest, the highest since pre-pandemic. Okay. Well, that's significant because there's a lot happening, but the highest on record, these numbers go back not as far as great financial crisis. I mean, you only squeeze so much information on a page, but
it's true.
It's pretty high, right? Like that's pretty significant. 15% is a high number.
That's a very high number.
Yes. It says house hunters are having trouble committing because buying a home is more expensive than ever. The median home price rose 4% year over year to a record $442,525 in June, and the average interest rate on a 30-year mortgage was 6.92%. While that's down slightly from 7.06% the prior month, it's still more than double the all-time low hit during the pandemic. I'm just dumbfounded. This market when we're on the other side of this thing 10 years from now, 15 years from now, they're going to look back and be like, what the heck? How do we have areas that are dropping and buyers backing out 15% of the buyers backing out of deals and interest rates doubling and all these things. And the home prices are still going up.
This is a cray market. I mean, one that will knock your block off if you really are serious about either putting your house on the market or selling. And for buyers, this is a critical moment, to be honest, right? You go into it being excited about home purchasing. You're like, okay, even in this market, I'm going to take that risk, right?
Yep.
But even when taking that risk, there's a lot of fear there. That's really what it is. And am I going to be able to not only make my mortgage payments, am I going to be able to take care of things like that go wrong in the house, maintenance, you know? So there's just more factors involved now. And here's what's crazy. We don't know if the rates or if the home prices are going to continue to climb every single month, because that's been the trend, to be honest with you, last 3 months.
Right.
So
it's,
I get their position.
If there was a way for home buyers to, it's the human condition, right? Like you can't help but hear things, and you constantly, doubt yourself on whether you're making the right decision. And you do, the whole concept of buying a house, when you're buying it as a home, and we talk about this, offline. I talk about this on this channel, just, ad nauseum, right? That truly, if you're buying this for a home, not an investment,
right?
You really should completely ignore the market. Okay. So that sounds like a real estate, like, yeah, you're a real estate agent. Yeah. You don't, you just want us to buy a house. No, I'm not saying ignore everything. I'm saying ignore the market, but you take into consideration your personal finances. There are a lot of people now making a lot of money, and they're not starving, and they can financially afford to buy a house. You take into consideration your personal well-being. If you're in a situation where, say, your grandmother passed away and you're carrying 2 houses, you got to sell it, or you came into some money and it's like, I'm in a house with a whole bunch of kids and I got to get out of here, or I'm divorced and I can't handle this house because it's too much. It's too much. And I'm absolutely miserable and unable or age has got to the point where you're like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
This is, my kids are grown. So it's like, the personal situation, those are the things that truly, truly, truly people need to be taking stock of. And the problem is that when they do that and they take stock of it and they make the decision that's right for them,
right for
they're
them.
they're chastised by the media. Yep. Because nobody should be buying a house because it's so expensive.
Right.
And so it's all this noise where, if you've got, I really truly think that a buyer, if you're thinking about buying a house, you have to put you put a ton of thought into it. Or you're selling a house, you put a ton of thought into it. You do it for the right reasons. You don't do it out of fear. No. You don't do it because you're reacting to something. And then you put blinders on.
You do, well, you have to, because if you listen to too many folks, it impairs your decision. You would have probably went ahead and listed that property, or you would have went ahead and got that pre-approval to purchase. But I think when you have too many people in your ear, it's hard to hear and see clearly. So you're absolutely right. Like, people have to make those major decisions in their life, and sometimes they just can't wait. And to have criticism about that, to me, it's a little judgy, right? Because you don't know. Totally. Everyone's living, something completely different, and what they need is not what you need. So that's a great point.
And let's be honest. That's what we do in this country.
Yeah.
That's what we do up in the Northeast. Is judge.
All the time.
Judge. It's like, so what are they doing that for? Why are they putting that addition on? They can't afford that, I mean, it's like a constant, it's like, mind your own business.
No, they can't do it.
But everybody,
they've given us a mobile device, and now we can do that all the time.
I wonder what shit. Oh, you went with the blue door. Can you believe that? Oh my God, I would never do that color.
I would never put my house in the market for that much.
You're like, oh, I love the blue door. Oh no, I don't. Like, what the heck? Yeah, it's just brutal. And I, well, I'm going to actually get back in the article because I think that it goes on to some of the reasons that people, that these people are backing out.
Yeah.
And we got a couple. Just hold on one second. Maddie B, welcome. Great to see you. How do they know if it's all cold feet versus failed inspection appraisal loan? Yes. You know what? Stay tuned, because we're going to actually get into that in about 2 seconds in the article. And welcome, Ricardo. Wonder how many of the cancellations were due to appraisal issues. Stand by. Stay tuned. All right, we're going to get to that in a second. The rest of this article. This Julie Zubier, Redfin Premier Real Estate Agent, San Francisco, says buyers are getting more and more selective. They're backing out. Here you go. They are backing out due to minor issues, because the monthly costs associated with buying a home today are just too high to rationalize not getting everything on the must-have list. Yeah. And it also goes into say, and I thought this was interesting. They said that we're seeing nightmare scenarios where deals getting canceled at the last minute for the most minute reasons. Buyers often back out during the inspection period, which is true, because they find something they don't like, but affordability is really the underlying issue, which is scary, Angie, because the affordability, you would think that a buyer, unless something significant changed, like they got laid off or something of that nature, they incurred a big debt or something like that, that seriously altered. But you would think that you would know that before you started the process. I know. And we could, okay, I want to dig into that. Because I have some thoughts on that. She goes on to say, I don't want my buyers to be surprised by all the expenses that come with owning a home in Florida. So I advise them to proactively research the hefty cost of insurance, property taxes, HOA fees, in addition to the cost of their mortgage payment. Okay. I don't want to dig into this. So
let's go. I got opinions.
Excuse me. My goodness, I mean, a cough on the mic. So a couple things. 100%. Like, so obviously there, Florida, there's a lot going on with the HOA fees. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot going on with property insurance. There are a lot of unforeseen, or I wouldn't even say unforeseen expenses. There are unusual expenses. However, one of my opinions,
Yes.
when you're working, she specifically said, I don't want my buyers to be surprised, so I advise them to proactively research the cost. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How about she helps them do that? How about she gets the HOA condo docs and the fees? How about she goes to town hall for the buyers to make sure that they get the proper information?
That's correct. Part of
Okay.
that is it's our job to walk them through the process.
Well,
Okay. Because there's a
it
lot of
is.
things.
And because here's the thing, here's what I've seen, Angie. What I've seen. Oh, hey, Jackie Baker in the house. What I have seen, and here's the thing. Okay, you paint the picture. You got super excited buyer. Could be first time home buyer. Could be move up buyer. Vacation, doesn't matter. You got super excited buyer. You got agent who wants to make a sale. The agent says, buyer, you should go do the research. Agent, to the buyer. Buyer is like, yes, I should. And then they're like, you know what? I want this so bad. I'll just deal with it. I don't care. I'll just deal with it. I want it so bad.
Yeah.
And then they never go. And then you get to this point. This is the thing. Jackie and I talk about this all the time. That the fact we talk about it. You and I have talked about this.
Yep.
About the fact that an agent's role in this type of transaction, in any kind of transaction, our role is to take the emotion out of the equation. It is impossible for buyers and sellers to have to be unemotional.
Right.
And that's one of my arguments for having representation, is because it's impossible. I mean, unless you're so stoic and so, removed from that property, which it's possible, but it's not the norm. Right. To be able to take that, because that emotion's there, that's going to prevent some of the buyers from doing what they should be doing.
100%. And going along with that, honestly, is as a professional, we are professionals in this business. It's part of our job, again, to guide them through the process. It doesn't matter if you bought one home or 15,000 homes. The thing is you have to be aware of what is happening currently in the marketplace, how things are functioning. So right now, HOAs are a huge deal, but even more important, home insurance. This is a deal we haven't had to deal with in a long time. It's gotten worse. The amount that people are having to pay, even in Houston, compared to Florida. These are issues that are just now recent issues. And so if you're not preparing people before they start signing on the dotted line, getting locked in, and they don't feel confident and comfortable with where they are with all these budgetary constraints, then of course they're going to have doubts and want to back out, right? They're going to say, on top of all these things, insurance, on top of maintenance, mortgage payment, now I got a roof that's leaky because my inspector said it's crappy. I mean, you're just adding on cost after cost. And so it completely makes sense to me that people would go home and sleep and go, what am I doing? I need to take a step back. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, and especially they get online, they go on the YouTubes, and they watch a horrific video, and they go, "Wait a minute, I'm buying in that area. Holy crap, I don't want to do that."
Yep.
And now, once again, emotion takes over.
Oh yeah.
And they pull the trigger because emotion's already in charge. Because the agent I don't mean to pigeonhole the agent, but it is what it is. Like, that's usually the answer. Not always, but that's usually the answer, right? If the agent already let them make those decisions not to go research, right? They're already on that road of emotion. Now they're like, now there's no stopping.
Well, that's where doubt enters in. Okay. It just takes that one small emotion that gives them that feeling of, oh crap, what am I doing? Is this the right decision? Is this the right location, et cetera? So it's, again, part of our job to help them through that process, and reminders even. I'm not saying doing every single thing for them. What I'm saying is put them in a good position that that on the other side of it, once they, get to the closing table, they're ready to go, rather than backing out at any part of the transaction action. And they'll be able to comfortably pay for those payments every single month moving forward. So you don't want to be the one who gives them wrong info or lets their minds go to a place that it shouldn't go without reeling them back in, giving them real honest feedback as to what's really happening.
So back in the day, and I'm not even, Jackie will laugh at this. I'm not going to go back in my day. I'm not going to even go that far back.
You already did it.
I'm going to go pre-pandemic, right? Back in pre-pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
When a buyer wanted to make an offer on a property that has an HOA, and we have HOAs up here, right? Before we make an offer, before the pen hits the paper and anything is submitted to the seller, I am getting information on special assessments, updated information to make sure, confirm the taxes, make sure that the HOA fees are current, a copy of the budget. Okay. 2 years of the budget. Okay. And if I don't, say, for example, some HOAs, you got to wait 7 days to get some of the documents. I'm putting a condition in the offer, and it's usually like 7 days. Okay. It's 7 days. We get that stuff before we even get the home inspection. We're getting the documents and reviewing it. But ideally we would wait until, or try to get all that information up front. So we don't waste the time. Mm-hmm. So I would have a question for all those, those buyers that backed out. Could that information been obtained prior to? Now, Ricardo had asked about the appraisals, and I think actually, let me just switch back to the article here, because I feel like there may be a little bit more information here. So Rafael Corrals, I don't know if that is Red Fair Premier Agent in Miami. I hope I'm saying that name right. Also advises customers now more than ever to seek legal representation. Buyer and sellers in Florida are having to sign all sorts of additional addendums. Okay, so those addendums are, if there's any disclosures, everything should be done before they make an offer.
Right.
Many condo owners are getting hit with hefty special assessments. And that's what, a lot of it's coming from the 2021 Surfside condo collapse, that led to a new Florida law that requires condo buildings to build up reserve funds and get new structural inspections if they're over 30 years old. As a side note, I had someone contact me from the channel looking for an agent to sell her condo. And when I talked to her, that was one of the things she said. She's like, my condo is not in that group. It's less than 30 years old.
Okay.
Because it's a consideration. It's like anything else. The buyers, this is something that every buyer should be, looking for and be aware of. Condo buyers are entitled to see a building's HOA board meetings before finalizing purchase. But he said some are having to hire lawyers because sellers aren't willing to share the information.
First of all, just so everyone knows, let's discuss that small bit. If you're a seller or a potential seller, you're considering, letting go of your beach house, letting go of your primary home because you've got to move, downsizing, or whatever. The name of the game is disclose, disclose, disclose. Amen. You've got to give everything that you have to that buyer. And it really is protection of you, for you, so that something later on, if something should happen, hey, they never gave me, the paper that says I'm not allowed to have chickens. Okay, we have chickens in Texas, but you know what I mean.
You got cows. You got lots of cows down there.
Right. Can
I just tell you something? Yeah. I am not happy with Texas right now. You know why?
Oh, why?
Because you guys ruined barbecue for me forever. I cannot eat barbecue up here in New England because of you. Because of you guys, I had the best stinking gas station,
brisket,
Rudy's.
Rudy's I think we went to Rudy's. That's my go-to when I'm in a hurry. But we have a ton of deliciousness. Okay, that y'all need to try.
I'm upset. Yeah, barbecue. Apparently, I've been eating fake barbecue. Julie Marr says, "Hello." Here you go, Here you go, Angie. Julie. Hello, ladies. Y'all are great. I'm not in the market by yourself, but learning so much. I am loving. That's my goal on this channel is just to to educate, share what I know, and really just empower you guys, empower so you can advocate for yourself.
Yes.
100%.
Love that so much.
Jackie, that includes you and Christina. There you go.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right.
Come on,
Awesome.
Julie.
Awesome. Yep. Jackie's on board with that. Oh, thank you very much, Jackie. Hit the like button.
Yeah.
So we can get this video out to more viewers.
They need to see it.
Jackie says sellers should be sued for not disclosing.
Come on, let's talk about that.
This is a problem. This is it costs money to sue.
Yes.
It costs money to sue. And you have a situation where buyers are already crunched for money. They're already crunched for down payment. Now the laws, not the laws are changing, but the customary, the way it's being done is not technically the whole agency change, the commission change. They're not laws that they have to do this thing, but this is the way it's going to be done per the rules of the governing agencies in our real estate industry. That if you want to buy a house, you're going to have to either risk going alone or pony up money. So now they got to pony up money, and now you have a seller that is being super unscrupulous and shady and doing things they shouldn't do. They don't have the money.
Yeah,
they don't have the money to take them to court. So
part of that too, it's the other part of, of course, there's that period where they have a couple, at least in Texas, we've got a certain amount of time that they could still go back later on if they should happen to come into some funds. I would hate for a seller to be sneaky and say, oh, I forgot about that. And not disclose it. And then 2 years later, somebody's coming after them after they've moved on with their lives. So like I was mentioning, it's a protection for the sellers themselves. This is why buyers do their diligence. This is a part of the due diligence process for the seller.
So I did a video on that.
Oh, awesome. Let's talk about that too.
I did a video about that exact thing where there was an agent who told the story about the fact that they were selling a house, and at the final walkthrough, they were told that it wasn't a non-disclosure as much as leaving information out, and the power and the danger of possibly getting sued, right? So they told the buyers that the windows were newer, and the buyers had a different idea of newer versus the sellers. And they went to the walkthrough. There was paperwork on the counter with the actual date of the windows. The buyers saw that and said, "Wait a minute, these aren't as new as we thought they were." They went to the closing, demanded a credit, $10,000. The sellers are like, not going to happen. They backed out. They said that the deal is dead. The buyers defaulted. The buyers refused to sign. And that was it. Like, the deal was done. Sellers went, sold the property to another buyer. Fast forward, I don't remember the exact time. It was a year, I think. It's in the video. I had more information in the video. Fast forward after the property sold, sellers are gone. Yeah. Sellers moved on with their life, or whatever. Property sold, another hand. Okay. Those first buyers come back and they sued the seller.
You see what I'm saying?
And the buyers had a family member that was an attorney.
Wow.
So the representation was free.
You don't know.
And they dragged them through the mud and dragged it out and dragged it out and dragged it out. And it was costing the sellers money just to keep from going to court and court's fees and just standard stuff. And finally, the original sellers, they didn't even own the house anymore. They cut a check to them for $10,000 to make them go away.
That is.
It could have dragged on for years and cost them a lot more money.
Wow.
And that's that was a unique story. That was a unique story because not everyone has an attorney that's free in their back pocket.
Right.
Because in the real world, most people don't, and they don't have the power. They're not gonna spend
or funds
$50,000 to get 10. It doesn't make any sense,
Right.
But yeah, it was kind of bonkers, but it's crazy. Absolutely.
That's what
crazy.
You don't want. Okay. That's what you do not want as a seller.
Typically.
Yeah, yeah.
Janet Cruz and Homestead. I love that. I love that. If they don't disclose, you don't go look. Yeah, I mean, the problem is how do you know if they don't disclose? Like, I mean, if it's in regards to like the HOA stuff, and if
Yeah.
they say no, then deal's dead.
Yeah.
But if it's things that you didn't know about, you know, you ask if there's special assessments and they don't respond.
Mhm.
But that on something like that, you can lean into, the HOA contacts. The other part of that actually is on special assessments. And yeah, this is another thing that doesn't make any sense with what we're seeing here. And I don't know, maybe the contracts are different in Florida, but in Massachusetts, it's right in our purchase contract, which is signed at the beginning of the process.
Mhm.
And it specifically states either there are or they're not. So if there are special assessments and the seller says there are not, well, now the seller's in breach.
Yeah.
The seller's in breach at that point.
We've got an addendum here in Texas
Do you really?
for HOAs.
But I'm wondering if they're, when they're talking about backing out because of that stuff, I really think that what's happening here is they're finding out this information, they're getting it during the process, and then they just having too much time to think about it.
I also think that might be associated with the fees. Listen, these HOA fees are no joke. And so once they get those actual numbers, if we don't have them up front, because sometimes remember, if we do have that information in the beginning, the reason why it still has to go through the HOA companies is because they have to give you the latest information, right? Based on the last quarter, let's say. And so you may not know fully that exact amount, but once it goes through the system, for us, title company runs that through that system for us and sends it back. You may find that the assessment fees are way too high. It wasn't the amount that you thought it was going to be in terms of budgeting. The other part of that too is you can tell, okay, when you send the seller's disclosure over to your sellers and then they send it back to you, there may be gaps. So you're right, Janet. Like part of it is if you know that there's gaps on that form and there was something that was supposed to be there that isn't there, that's a sign. Number one, it's like, I'm already questioning whether the seller is being open and honest about what's happening with the house. So
Yep.
It's both for sure.
Yep. Yep. I mean, and that now is on the listing agent.
Yep.
Right. So you have that situation and you see the gaps. Do you ignore it and just put it on the market because you want to just get the property listed, or do you push the seller?
Me, I'm pushing the seller. Some agents.
100%. No, a lot of agents won't. A lot of agents won't. And I mean, something like a condo fee, I mean, getting the condo docs, again, typically up here can be a process. You have to go through whether it's privately managed or you have most management companies and they have their systems and all the things.
Yeah.
But condo fees, like the seller should be paying them. If the seller's paying it, they know how much they are. So yeah, true. Oh no, you're right. You're
right. Here's why I say that. I've got, I know somebody who didn't know. They thought it was automatic. It's a new place, new construction. The first year it did, they paid up front, but the years after that, they didn't know that they had switched over to monthly fees. And so that could catch you. Yes. So if you don't know, say you list that property, you don't know if that person's paid the HOA. They're thinking, yes, I actually have. I paid it up front already. Then what?
That's like that was like the live stream I did last week with people. I think it was last week. I don't know. These weeks they kind of grow together. With homeowners being just, I think it's come up in conversation. Homeowners are being evicted for that exact reason, because they're like, oh, wait, I paid my dues. And in reality, they think that they were being paid because they were supposed to be automatically deducted, but they weren't. And now they owe a bucket full of money plus all the fees, and they have no idea. I mean, I don't know. Do they have no idea? Do they have no idea?
It's
If you look at your bank account and then money is not being deducted,
right.
like, really?
You question it.
Like, I don't know about you. I don't know about you, Angie, but like,
You question it.
I'm not made money. So I
Yeah.
monitor my account. And quite honestly, I don't want people sneaking in there and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, somebody got a hold of a account number or something and
Yeah.
fraud or whatever. So I'm like checking it at least every couple of weeks. So, balance the budget and all the things, but at least like once a month you get your bills. Like,
Some
don't
people
you?
trust the system. They go on
That's
auto and
just
they don't
not.
look at it again. That's
I
what
feel
happens.
like, bad stuff happens, but I think the bad stuff can be circumvented with proactivity. I'll give you an example. Sunday morning, I'm sitting at my desk, I'm doing my bills, going through all balancing the bud, doing all the things, doing all the freak out because I'm like, oh my God, more bills, all the things. It's like I give myself a window of time to freak out. And then I'm like, okay,
Let's get it together.
till next week. I got a kid home from college and I'm like, oh, great. You're home from college and she can't afford to be out on her own yet. But like the student loans still have to be paid. So
Yeah.
who's paying that?
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, I digress. While I'm sitting here, I get an alert from my credit card company. Oh, wow. I guess I'm flying Spirit Airlines. I bought airline tickets for $773. Oh, no, I did not.
You going anywhere? Are you going somewhere? We don't know. Okay.
So it's like, I mean, I set it up to get the fraud alerts and all the things.
Yeah.
And said, no, that's not me, and put a stop on it. But that's on that credit card. Not all credit cards do that.
That's true.
So you just gotta check. You just gotta check. You gotta be proactive, and especially if you have an auto deduction. I personally don't like auto deduction.
I don't either.
I don't like when I get the idea of having something automatically paid, so that's one less thing you have to think about. However, I don't like the idea of somebody having access to my money. I don't like the idea that they can just take it out without me saying it's okay to take it out.
Right.
Because things happen in life and you have that auto deduction. And what happens if all of a sudden you get sick or you get hurt or you whatever? It's like, you know what? If I have a choice between paying that or paying my mortgage or buying, I'm going to let that slide just a little, just 1 month or whatever. But you can make that choice.
I like that option.
Choices,
I'm old school. My mom taught me when I was a kid how to work a checkbook. She gave me an old one. Like I used to write checks as a kid. She'd make me do cursive and then we'd balance it in that little tiny book that they gave you.
Cursive. Explain yourself. Explain
this cursive. I would have to write like mom.
This sounds like a cursive.
No one knows what that is anymore. They took it out of schools and whatnot, at least here in Tejas. But the thing that I learned from that is that you get a chance to see where your money is going. Now, there's all kind of cool tools out there that are digital. That's fine and great, but there's something to be said about you giving your approval. Yes, this money can go out here, there, and everywhere. It's easier, but at the same time, if you get too comfortable with the auto, you might miss fraud. You might miss some, you know what I mean? You might miss a payment that didn't go through because it didn't switch from one account to another. So I like the idea of still doing both. For instance, I'll give you an example. Wire fraud. Okay, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, another time. But it's great that you can wire money and it can get there quickly. But with so much other things going on in terms of fraud, just go to the bank, old school, get you a check. There's nothing wrong with going to see somebody face to face or looking at those numbers face to face to make sure you're on target. So that's my little rant for everybody.
Is that your TED Talk?
I should be.
Julie Marr, my husband and I were told the selling realtor can only disclose what the sellers tell them. Is that true? Well, the reality of it is the agent can only tell you what she knows. And, and the reality of it is, I mean, the agent is responsible for telling the seller what legally they are supposed to disclose.
That's right.
Material defects, things of this nature, whatever is appropriate in your state for disclosure.
Yes.
because the seller may not know what they're supposed to disclose.
Mhm.
The agent is supposed to ask the question
Bridge
and
that
be like,
gap.
hey, have you ever had water in the basement?
Right.
Have you ever had a mold remediation? Have
That's
you ever
right.
had radon issues? Have you ever had pest issues? All the things. And then if that, whatever answer that seller gives the agent, as soon as the agent knows, agent has
They
that, now the
disclose.
agent's on the hook. But
That's
if the
right.
seller withholds information,
Mhm.
the agent can't disclose what they don't know.
And just so you know, if y'all are thinking, this is not just interior items either. You're thinking
Nope.
about mold, you're thinking about water. These are things happening on the outside. What if something happened to your grading, right, of your yard or your landscape? Now it's puddling in certain areas of your, it's all of it, right? The interior and exterior.
100%, 100%. Let's see, Ironwood Workman. I love that handle.
It's great, man. Look at that
That's
photo.
very, very cool. HOA fee of $360 a month on land. You cannot build on in Wyoming just to look at sagebrush in the freezing cold. Come get some, LOL. $360 a year. Be like
Yeah,
a meditation spot.
not a month.
Maybe $360 a month.
Mhm.
I would say, yeah. What are they? I don't know. I can't say what I'm thinking. They're on something.
What if they're
They're on something. I feel like at $360 a month on land.
Mhm.
I mean, okay, so here's something. You can't build on it, but can you put a mobile home on it?
Can you lease it? We do that a lot here in Texas.
Yep. I mean, if you can, technically, a mobile home is not a structure. It's not
Mhm.
considered real estate. It's not considered
Mhm.
real estate. So that's what mobile home parks are.
Yeah.
None of it is considered real property. None of it has foundations. You do have some sort of sewerage treatment, whether it be
Right.
tie into town sewer or on site or whatnot, and you have some underground utilities. But yeah, I mean, maybe.
You gotta make that money back for that monthly fee. That's high.
That's bonkers, man.
Mhm.
That is bonkers. Let's see. There you go, Angie. It's good mother. They do not even teach that in school. Can we just say, and let's give an amen on that. Let's just give an amen on that.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean? Honest to goodness,
It's true,
really.
though. It's really true. It's
It, you
sad
know,
a little bit.
it is sad. And you know what?
Mhm.
Every school, it's an issue. I did the similar thing when my kids turned 15. We headed down into a local bank because they had, you could get at a 15-year-old checking accounts.
Yeah.
And I go in there and I do the, the cosign trustee, whatever, not, as a guardian, parent, whatever. So they can get a checking account. So
Yeah.
they can start. And I did a very similar experience. And then when she was, the older one was old enough to get a credit card, we went through that whole thing. And I said,
Yeah.
you have a due date, you ignore the due date. Ignore the
Mhm.
due date. Pay it in full every Saturday.
Right.
And she's 22 and she's still doing that. So, but they don't teach that stuff in school. They
No,
have like
and
economics and things like that. But like, basic, this country, some things.
it's really
I
frustrating
digress.
because when they come to buy a home, right, they
Yep.
are nervous and they're not unsure, and it creates more doubt. And so the simple tasks and things like that, I think, would go a long way, especially for young people.
Absolutely. Leeward One, welcome.
Hello.
My condo agent wanted to set up auto deduct from my account, and I said,
No
no.
thanks.
Hallelujah.
Mhm.
I'll issue a recurring check. Yep.
That's right.
So easy. It's so
Yep.
easy to do, to set up as a recurring thing, and then you just have to approve it. Once a month, go into your bill pay.
Right.
Yeah, no question
And
about it.
listen, folks will complain, "Hey, it takes longer." It really doesn't. A couple minutes, to be honest with you, to go ahead and
Right.
send that money to where it goes rather than it going auto. So I would say give 15 minutes of your life, people. That's it. That's all.
Bike contest, Crumbling Foundation. Could you elaborate? I'm not sure what the
Yeah.
question on that
Is
one's
this if you're
probably
under contract and you have your inspection and you find out that there's something going on with the foundation, or is it apparent while you're viewing the property for the first time? Yeah.
well, that's the thing is I think a lot, I mean, I don't know how many properties I've been into where we put the brakes on, the buyers put the brakes on before you even made an offer.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, I see a horizontal crack. Now I'm not a structural
Foundation,
engineer.
yes,
I am
expert.
not a structural engineer. However, when you do 700 home inspections
Yep.
and follow the inspector around, you tend to learn a few things.
Yeah, you do.
And horizontal cracks, you run. You run. You don't,
Mm-mm.
there's no crack filler. No, you run.
Mm-mm.
Horizontal cracks are bad. But
Yeah,
settling cracks, I
that's
mean, it
typical.
depends on when the concrete's, poured, what time of
Was
year,
it weather?
all the things, there's going to be, as that cures, there's typical, and sometimes you get, but, usually it's, if you have a crumbling foundation,
Mm-hmm. It's done. Just burn the whole thing down.
Be like, Mr. Seller, I don't have an offer, but I have a book of matches.
It's just like, you're gonna have to start from scratch. You're
Oh
building
my
a
God.
brand
Now
new
we're
house
talking,
at
are
that
we
point.
talking arson here? No, we're not talking
No,
arson.
no,
Goodness,
no.
cheers. This live stream is going off the rails. Julie says, we weren't told there was no insulation under the siding. We discovered this at 3 years old after. So if the seller knew, because here's the thing, there are a lot of clueless sellers, a lot of clueless homeowners that if they bought it that way,
Right.
they have no idea. Because if you have finished walls and the siding has never been replaced, and they buy the house that way, and it's been that way for whoever knows how long, how are they going to know?
I know. The other side of
It's
that,
hard.
though, is
So
going back to that.
they must have, I'm surprised. I wonder if the home inspectors have some sort of infrared technology
They
to
do.
check that. For that,
This
I mean,
is
they
my
have
point.
moisture meters. They have moisture meters, but
if you go back to what we talked about earlier, which is that seller's disclosure, Julie, this is great. Part of that is also if you're a seller and you've had an inspection, let's hope that the buyer agent guided you in that direction to do your due diligence, then they need to be pulling that old inspection report. And here in Texas, that's what we do. You have an old inspection report, let's post it. They can look to see when you first bought it, what issues they had in that home. An inspector should be also to investigate that property to ensure that it has proper foundation. At least here in Texas, that's how we do it. They're looking for everything. So yes, it should have been on the disclosure. It should have at least been on an inspection report. And like Jen said, it may be the fact that some people, they didn't get an inspection or they just don't know the house is too old or whatever have you.
Yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, I think, there's a case to be made for clueless homeowners. You know what I mean? I mean, it is, Angie, it is what it is. You walk in and you're like, okay, so when was the last time you're up in your attic? And the seller and the homeowner's like, oh.
Right.
I'm like, well, maybe I should just take a peek. And you open up the attic door and it's like, it
What
looks
is
like
happening?
it's like a black hole with just
Yeah.
mold and mildew and stuff, and they're like, oh, I didn't know that was there. Because they don't go in the attic.
Yeah.
They don't go in the attic, or they don't care, or they have a basement. I mean, up here we have basements, right? So full of crap. You can't even see the walls. You can't even see the walls. Never mind look and see if there's a crack. But it's just a lot of home sellers. Like, I mean, it's just, I had one where there was the outlets, were like a couple of the outlets in the kitchen were burned, right? Like,
what are they
burn
doing
marks
in there?
on the outlets. And as the homeowner, I'm like, what's going on here? Oh, I never noticed that. And she was an old lady. Like, it was like, she wasn't playing. Like, she legitimately was like, oh, I'm like, yeah, you should have somebody replace those. Oh, okay. They don't notice,
No.
Oh, David Matney.
Oh, David, what up?
What a pal. What a pal, what a pal. Makes me smile. He's like, oh man, he's so awesome, man. Really appreciate. Okay. So bike contest disclose. So you're talking about the Crumbling Foundation. Disclose. Yeah, I think you were kind of just talking about that in terms of, disclosing whether there was issues. And there again, I mean, if the seller doesn't pay attention, it's like, okay, here's an analogy. And this is current because I have a daughter that's, new to driving in the fall, right?
Yeah.
And early this year, not in the fall, but 3-4 months. So she got a new car. Well, new to her.
Yeah.
And getting a new car. Heck, I don't have a new car. But one of the things I'm teaching her is to learn the car, listen to the car, get used to the sounds of the car. Feel how the back gas pedal is, feel how the brakes are. Listen to the sounds it makes when you're turning, to listen to the sounds it makes when you're braking, all the things, so that if something doesn't feel right, if something doesn't sound right, you'll know.
You'll know right away.
People should do that with their homes, and they don't.
Oh, 1000%. I mean, just even regular homeowner maintenance. We have to do a lot here in Texas because it's so hot, right? We have a really long summer. We only have 2 seasons. Okay. Yep. We got fall.
Hence the reason summer. I live in New England.
But what's really pivotal here is you've got to get your HVAC system in furnace. You need to check that baby 2 times a year. You really do. Or you're going to risk running out your HVAC and being hot, right, when it's burning outside. So little things like that, it really is important to keep those things on some sort of calendar to make sure, that things are working functionally. But I get it. Some people you get used to living, you're not in a habit of doing those homeowner maintenance items. And then when it's time to sell, you actually don't know because you haven't been checking on it.
Yep. 110%. There's a follow-up. It says rumbling. They corrected. It's supposed to be crumbling foundations in Massachusetts, primarily caused by the presence of pyrohite. I say that, Janji.
Pyrite. That's what I would say.
I need to Google that.
Pyrotite.
Yeah, pyrotite.
You need to Google it.
That's interesting.
Tell us more.
Oh, tell me more. Tell me. What's that from? What musical is that from?
I forget.
Tell me more. With John Travolta. Is that from John Travolta?
It's my favorite. It's the dancing one.
Oh, come on now.
With Sandra. Y'all know with Sandra. Come on, let us know in the comments.
With John Travolta and and they're in the 50s. Come on, somebody who's watching this must know what is the name of the musical. Tell us. Oh my gosh, Grease! Thank you.
Grease. Thanks, Leah.
Oh man, Swiss cheese brain is not fun. Okay,
and then it's 2 of us.
Too. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad they're on top of things.
Thanks, Kate. Oh my God.
Should have a contest or something. For sure. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, but yeah, you know what? I just want to go back to this. So Janet Cruzen says, old is no excuse. As an old lady, I can say that. So let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. She's 100%.
Yeah.
110%. And for sure, in jest, we say, oh, yeah, Oli, whatever. I have talked to, people, I've had quite a few people reach out on this channel and ask for help with finding agents and so forth. And they're not young whippersnappers.
Yeah.
Right. They're shot, it's like the 70 is the new 50, 45.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you're like 100, you get a pass.
You do.
I think. Wouldn't you say? 95,
I would say
90,
yes.
95? I think you get
100.
100. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see that woman watching the Olympics? Totally digressing here. There was a woman that was doing she was running. It was not a triathlon, but it was like a triathlete that was like they do a running, and then they do a, I don't know. She was doing a bunch of
Biking, swimming.
not even, no, it wasn't triathlon, but, and in any event, she was 95. And she was like jumping over those hurdle things, the square hurdle
Wow.
things.
There's
I
no
can't do that. I'm
excuse.
52.
I'm just saying. There's
Forget
no
about it.
excuse. Yeah.
As Jackie would say, forget about it. Just forget about it. So I have some do you want to jump into a commission
Let's do it.
conversation? You want to do that? Let's see. Because I have, I did that video a couple weeks ago, and that combined with the fact that things have been changing.
Yeah.
Things have been changing big time across the country.
Real quick.
Oh my goodness, it's a lot. It's a lot. And people are confused. And agents are confused. Agents are confused. But I want to keep talking about it. So I thought what I did a few weeks ago is I took like the most common asked questions, and like every week I'm just going to bring one up and we'll just talk about it.
I like that.
So, because it's just, I think it's just the more we talk about it, the more conversations we have. I think it'll help. It'll help some people.
Help everybody. Yeah.
One of the question, and this is kind of actually, this is a good segue into what we're talking about here with this article, but why do I need a buyer agent? Can I go directly to the seller?
Okay. That's valid.
Would you like to dig into that one first? Because, and just to be 100% clear, and I've said this before, like, my goal on this channel is to educate so you guys can advocate on your own. We are not here to convince you to use an agent. I'm going to repeat that. I don't care if you use a buyer's agent. It's not going to benefit me. It is not going to benefit. I'm not going to make a nickel if you don't use a buyer's agent. I don't care if you use a buyer agent or not. Do you concur, Angie?
I 1000% agree.
So you do whatever, wherever the wind blows you, that's fine. So I truly am looking at this from, okay, so we don't care, you buyer agent, you don't buyer agent. I'm not going to sit here like a representative from the real estate industry that every buyer should use an agent. Because the reality of it is if you used to be a real estate agent, or you have the knowledge, you do a lot of investing, whatever, maybe don't.
Maybe you don't.
But I do think that a lot of people think they shouldn't, or they dismiss where there is value. And that's what I wanted to talk about is where an agent is different than going right to the seller. So that's my disclosure. So take it away, Angie. Your thoughts. You've got the floor.
My thoughts are, I completely agree with Jen. You don't need an agent. If you feel pretty confident in your skill set to be able to navigate a real estate transaction, and you are really well equipped with knowing the locations, the areas, you've been studying market stats, you've been looking at schools, if you're an expert on your own, right? You've gathered enough information to make a good decision and know how to negotiate. You don't. There's enough tools out there for you to try to do it on your own. That comes at a risk with certain things you don't know, but you can absolutely do it your own and work directly with the seller.
I would agree. And I would add to that a lot, there's been a lot of talk about, I don't need anybody to open the door. I don't need anybody to show me the house. I don't need anybody for that preliminary stuff. And I think for the most part, they're right to a certain degree.
Yes.
I have gone through properties, and I wouldn't say stopped, but I have made the buyers aware of things that will come up in a home inspection that have caused them to turn tail, especially first-time home buyers, because they're leading with emotion. So it's just
thing.
The emotion thing it's your Achilles heel.
Yeah.
It's your Achilles heel. Will all agents do that? No.
Right.
All agents will not do that. So, but if you move past that, honestly, Angie, I think where the work starts, and I mean, we start working as soon as we make contact with that buyer. Yep. It could be a year, it could be 6 months. Yeah. I closed on a transaction 2 weeks ago. okay, with a buyer homeowner that sold and a seller and a buyer that and then they end up purchasing another.
Right.
3 years I worked with them
Wow.
because I was introduced to them by their daughter, started the
Mhm.
conversation, and it's just slow, 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 slow. You know, it's touching base, it's answering questions. They're not ready. Cool. Well, wait.
Yeah.
So there's stuff before that that could be of value of working with an agent to help you determine whether it's even a time to get into the market or not.
Well,
And
yeah.
and I've had situations where I've said to buyers, you probably should, like, do you have the down payment? Great.
Mhm.
Do you have sufficient reserves? If you don't have another
It's a great
10,
question.
$15,000 in the bank, I should probably still continue to save.
Mhm.
Because the
Oh,
question
yeah.
is what happens when the furnace dies the day after you move in? What are you gonna do? Put it on a credit card? Wrong answer. Wrong answer.
No,
So
please
I think
don't.
I think there's value there, number one. But truly, I do think the biggest benefit of getting a buyer agent is not seeing the house,
No.
it's what happens after. It's
Let
what
that
happens.
part. I would agree with that because yes, you can do it on your own, like I said, but you need to have all these other things in place first. You got to understand market dynamics. You got to know all these things are really important before you start making offers directly with the seller. Um,
100%.
the thing that you're probably not going to get or that would help and be beneficial to you is the fact that you then don't have to do all that work yourself. You have somebody who's competent, who knows their job, who's a true professional that will work some of these things for you. Market stats, they know what to look for as soon as they look at a home. I have been in houses, hundreds and hundreds of homes, right? I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know what to look for when I walk in there. And sometimes, again, emotion, like you mentioned, Jen, buyers are looking at how they're going to live in the space. Does this fit my family? Is this going to work for the next 5 years? So they're thinking about different types of questions. My questions are, why is there a gap right here? Why is there a crack right here? Why, I'm looking for
Right.
other things. So it still can benefit you to use a real estate professional because they're going to help guide you in that way of things that you may not know to ask or to even think about. So there's
Correct.
advantages. The answer to the question is yes, but also there's an advantage to using a real estate professional because they are going to have your back and know things that you're not considering.
Well, and the other thing too, and actually, bike contest actually is I mean, you keep on listening because that's exactly what we're talking about. What does a buyer's agent actually do? Sorry, I'm new to this. Do not apologize.
No, that's a great
Don't
question.
apologize. Because I really truly think that a lot of people have no idea what a buyer's
Yeah.
agent's role even is. A lot of people, based on the feedback that I'm getting off the video that I did, that one video, it's clear to me that most home buyers have no clue. Like
Mhm.
it's just something that they were there and they didn't have to pay for them outright. So now that they have to pony, we have to talk about money. It's like, wait a minute, what are you doing anyways?
Yeah,
So it's not, don't apologize because it's a great question because
it
it's a
is.
conversation that we absolutely need to continue, to have. But here's the other thing. You don't have an agent. And say you do all those things on your own, you do the research, all those stuff. You're
Mhm.
getting ready to make an offer. Go to the listing agent. You say, I'm going to make an offer. I'm going to use
Yeah.
an attorney. The attorney is going to help me draft an offer. We're going to submit it. Okay, great. The agent says, well, I just want to let you know there are other offers on the table. Okay. Can you tell me anything about them? Nope. Seller's agent's not bound to tell you zip,
They
nothing.
already represent somebody, the seller.
They represent the seller. Okay. So you go back and you make your offer at a price that you kind of just guess because you have no idea what the other offers are. You have nobody telling you what you should do. You just kind of based on your own, intuition, maybe
Mhm.
your own research on the market, you kind of just guess what contingencies you're supposed to do, what price you're supposed to do, what deposit, the timing, everything. Listing agent gives you squat. Okay.
Mhm.
Scenario 2. And this is real world stuff. This is not like Jen's making this stuff up, whatever. This happens to me all the time. I've been in this business. I've said this enough times on videos and stuff, but I've been in the business a couple minutes. Because of that, I know all the agents in the area.
Mhm.
I call the listing agent, and if the listing agent is local, chances are they will be. I can say to them, hey, Bill, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. I know you can't tell me what exactly the other offers are, but ballpark,
You're right.
we're thinking
Right.
about, there's a way to dance around it.
Mhm. It's a relational
Sometimes
piece.
it's a relational piece, and
Mhm.
sometimes, and this is just, every agent has their different negotiating strategies. My strategy, to be honest, is I don't go in like a bull.
Mhm.
I respect the agent. If they don't give me something, I say, I don't get mad. But they know by working with me that I'm going to be working with buyers that are well prepared.
Mhm.
They know that when I bring an offer to the table, the chances are nil that there are going to be surprises. That if
Right.
I bring a buyer with a pre-approval, it's a real deal. There's no guess, because they
Yeah.
know that I've got a reputation for doing a ton of legwork and vetting things out. So they might give me a little clue
Mhm.
that has happened plenty of times before. And I will never say who it is because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But it's benefited my buyers.
Yes.
And so, and it's not, they never give me an exact number, but you tend to know how to read people.
Right.
And you ask the questions like, what's really important to the seller? Like, is
That
it price?
is
Is it terms? Is
beautiful
it
question.
time? Right? It's not always price.
No.
The
Sometimes
combination of
people have
all
to get
that.
out of there. Mhm.
Exactly. And sometimes, you know what? They'll take a slightly low offer because the terms are better.
That's true.
And I've had offers accepted that were not the highest offer
Mhm.
because I was able to have that
Yeah.
conversation. Okay. That's just one example of what a buyer agent that knows the area
Yes. Who has
can do.
relationship
Yep.
with agents, it is an advantage. I will say that is an advantage for sure.
Huge. And that's
Mhm.
just the negotiation of the offer, just to get your
Mhm.
foot in the door. Um, so yeah, 100%. They said home inspectors are gold if they're good.
If they're good.
100%,
Mhm.
100%, 100%. And you know what? I know that there's a lot of, it hinges on whether you have a good relationship with your agent, and whether that agent is, if you have a good agent that's going to refer people for the right reasons,
Yeah.
then you'll get a good inspector. If you have an agent that's there for the money, who knows what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But in that case, I would maybe ask if you have friends that have had purchased a house recently. I
Yeah.
see that a lot. And see who they used and if they were happy with that home inspector,
I love
you
that.
know?
And then also the way I like to do it is I start them off with a list. They don't have to use anybody on there. That's just my starter list. Anybody who is, just me personally, right? Anybody
Yep.
who has had trouble with anybody that's on my preferred vendor list, they're out. Okay. I have a high
Mhm.
expectation for anybody working with me because I have high expectations of my own company. So I start them off with a list. And then I say, look, you research this list if you want to, and then you come up with your own people. Talk to your friends, talk to your family and coworkers, whomever you need to find that
Yep.
right inspector for you. So even that you got to pay attention to, right? At least the
Yep.
agent hopefully is giving you a good A+ team that you can then go and verify, or you can go pick your own. Which, yeah, if you find a good one, that's going to save you a ton of money, is what I would tell you.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Amen. Follow-up question is, I also like to use my real estate lawyer just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming make sure on the contract. I'm not
Contract.
quite sure. Maybe on the contract. So the thing, I'll just do a sidebar. I think attorneys say that, right? You see what I did? You see what I did there? See what I did there?
That's great.
Anywho, um, a lot of people are saying, okay, well, I don't want to go to the seller, so I'll only use the real estate attorney.
Mm-hmm.
There has been so much discussion about that over the last several months. And with those discussions, I have talked to so many attorneys. Attorneys are saying they are not, and they have not in the past, and I will not in the future, negotiate offers, talk to listing agents,
Mm-hmm.
give advice on home inspections, negotiate home inspections. They will not do that.
Yeah.
Do you want to pay them to review an offer? They
Sure.
will do that. You pay them to review a purchase and sale. depending on what your state is. In Massachusetts, we do a separate offer and a purchase and sale. Some states
Oh,
like
okay.
California, it's one document, right? So they'll do that, but they are not taking calls about mortgage issues, appraisal issues,
Mm-hmm.
negotiating with the listing agent if the appraisal comes in low. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those are the things that the buyer agent does. The buyer agent should be, okay, you get the offer, then they go to it's like we are, I was talking to an attorney, another agent today, and he said, we were talking about the role of the agent, and it's like a carefully orchestrated conductor. You've got a symphony. The symphony is the real estate process.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the sellers, you've got the buyers, you've got the attorneys, you've got the lenders, you've got
Title companies.
the title companies, you got the parents that are well-meaning, you got your friends that are well-meaning, and then all the things that anybody that makes a chirp,
Mm-hmm.
all in unison. And a good agent will make it sound like symphony. Sometimes somebody gets a flat note.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. We've done this before.
Right.
We know what to do. You know what I'm saying? And a flat note would be like, what happens if the appraisal comes in low? Is the deal dead?
No.
Oh, not if you're working with a buyer agent that has maybe some creative solutions.
Oh,
it's not as simple as the seller has to lower the price. No, they don't.
They don't. It's negotiable.
And it's not as simple as, the deal's dead. No, not necessarily. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different ways to slice that pie, right?
Yeah.
And to get that resolved. All of a sudden there's an issue with, confirming a verification of employment. Is the deal dead? No. All of a sudden there's an issue with the HOA. All of a sudden there's an issue with new construction. And this happened 2 weeks ago where the final appraisal said, no, we have to have the landscaping done because it's in the requirements on the build.
Yeah.
Even though it's a development and all the grass seed's going to be done, it's going to be done in sections. It's like, well, is the deal dead? Because the lender's like, we can't close until it's done.
Right.
Well, no, I get on the phone and I'm like, okay, so how can we figure this out? We got to talk to the attorneys and like, can we draft an addendum? And can we strike that from the deal because it is going to be done because it's an HOA? Like those, I hope that helps clarify things, Ironwood Workman, because it's, it is an orchestra. He's talking about, plus I go over it myself, but I've worked in the trades all my life. 100%. Like that's the thing is the agent and the attorney, it's not anybody working by themselves.
No,
it's everybody working together.
It's a team.
It is 100% a team. Absolutely. Actually, here we go. The more eyes and pros, the better for most people is I will tell you that for most people, it is the largest investment they will ever make.
Yeah.
Why do you want to screw that up?
You want to make sure that's secure.
Why do you want to take a chance?
Yeah.
Angie,
I don't know.
That's like buying a house with no warranty.
Right.
Buying a brand new house, right? Brand new houses in Massachusetts, you get an automatic builder warranty. Like that's the law, right? When you buy a car, you get a warranty on the car and transmission and whatever. You buy a brand new car with well, you would never do that. You want some sort of
no warranty,
something to back up your peace, give you peace of mind, just in case. I mean, obviously, homes are not. Well, actually, I shouldn't say homes are not warranted because you can buy a home warranty.
Yeah,
right.
It just could be costly if you're with one of the biggest investments you will ever make in your life, not to have wise counsel on your side, right? Because then if something happens, you do the deal by yourself. And you thought, for instance, you negotiated a price well. I'll go back to Jen's example, but I'm going to kick it up a notch. And you find out that you're in multiple offer situations, so you're offering $50K more than everyone else because you don't know what the stats are really. You don't have the real data for it, and you get it. And the seller's super happy. They got an additional $50K on their house. A year later, something happens. You got to move, and you find out that the home prices were really $50K below where you offered, but you got to get out of this house. And now you're what? Upside down like a car. You're stuck. You got to come out of pocket now to get out of this situation. So I would not risk my hundreds of thousands of dollars not having somebody that knows what they're doing that will help me not miss a step, right? And bring things to
Well,
my
that's why,
attention.
and I think finding the right person, that's the key.
Mhm.
Finding the right person is probably going to be the most difficult part. And I'm going to be doing some content around this, but you really
That's
do
great.
need to interview a
Mhm.
seller
You
agent.
do.
You need to interview a buyer agent, just like you were interviewing an employee. When you're
Mhm.
hiring someone, you're going to interview at least 3 people.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
do.
so you have a contractor that builds an addition on your house. You don't just sign up the first person that
No.
somebody told you about. No, you're going to talk to multiple builders to
Or
get their,
lender for that matter.
and you're gonna research them.
Mhm.
You're gonna find out who references.
Ask
Jackie actually
them.
mentioned that last week.
Yeah,
References.
it's really
That's the
good.
best thing to find out if that agent is the real deal or they blowing smoke.
Yeah,
Have them give you names and numbers
previous
of
clients.
their recent clients to find out how the deal actually went.
Mhm.
I can give you 10 names right now.
Yep.
Period. Of people and I have no problems. Was every single deal transaction flawless? Of course not. But
No.
did we work through it? And were they
That's
super
the
happy?
key.
Because, it's not, it's like, a turkey can fly in a hurricane, Angie. Turkey can fly in a hurricane.
So can I.
When the deal is easy, if the deals were easy, you wouldn't need anybody.
Yeah.
You just like go to the lender, you buy the thing, go to the attorney, sign the papers, you're all done.
Mhm.
Okay. But that's not reality.
Yeah.
That's not reality. When the proverbial, hits the fan, you want a team.
You do.
You want a team, man. So you interview and you find out, you get your references. And I will tell you that a good agent, I've done this. A good agent will tell you when it's time to cut bait and run.
Yeah.
And that's not like at a home inspection. I'm talking like don't even make the offer.
Mhm.
I've had a couple of those coming in from Chicago and they're like, we really like the house. And I'm like, well, there's multiple offers. I said, honestly, what I'm getting from the listing agent, you're going to have to go, at least X to even
Right.
ball game. And I looked at them and I said, I just think that's a bad move.
Mm.
I think it's too much money for this house.
Yeah.
I really do. And they're like, and they thought about it. They went home and they're like, you know what? We're not willing to pay that.
Right.
And then we're on to something else. There's always
Yeah.
something else, and I'm glad they did.
You gotta give them honest and
It's like,
truth.
I don't, it doesn't, I mean, I know that if I do my job right, eventually there'll be money in my bank account so I can pay my mortgage, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean pushing people, like doing things right is, waiting on their timeline,
Mhm. It's true.
and doing the right thing.
That's a little
let's see.
integrity.
A little integrity, a little
Mhm.
integrity, a little salt, a little pepper, a little integrity. I have seen real estate agent brokers get sued for wasting time and travel because they did not know what a tobacco barn is. They showed the buyer a horse barn. Where are we talking about?
Please tell us where you
I'm
are.
intrigued. Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. Sellers, agents need to know what they are doing as well.
Yeah,
Amen.
they do.
100%. 100%.
They better be
100%.
giving you truth too about what the market is like, not just your. Here's the thing. Let me give you a little tip about the sellers. Okay,
You
Having
come
a
on
seller's
now. You
agent.
preach, girl.
I'm just
Come on.
saying. If you have an agent coming in just trying to give you the highest price, I know that's part of the goal, but just talking about the highest price and what they can do, they can get you X, Y, and Z. You better be reconsidering, okay? Because they're supposed to give you everything, not just what the price itself, but what is the current market status, right? What is happening there?
Yep.
What are they seeing in your neighborhood, right? What are the days on market? What strategies are they coming up with to navigate the current market space? There's more to it than just the price itself, because they may promise you a price and not know what to do with that thing afterwards. Your house is on the market for 90 days and you don't know why. Don't let me go on a rant, people. Okay.
I'm going to shut you down right now because you're close. You're close. You're getting there 100%. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that in a little different direction. I'm going to say that if you should have three, preferably agents come in and do a market evaluation on your house. and you have three different sets of off. You have three different valuations, and you have an agent that's coming in higher than that, all the other two. I would say no, you don't automatically discount that agent. What I would say is I would go to that agent and tell me, and I would ask them, show me the data that supports that price. Show me the data that supports that price. Because 9 times out of 10, I shouldn't say 9 times out of 10, very often, an agent will try to buy a listing. In other words, they'll woo the seller, right? They'll woo the seller with a higher price. But sometimes the data gets misrepresented by the other two agents. And the other two agents don't interpret. There's the data, and then there's the interpretation of the data. Yep. And that's key. Like home sellers, consumers, they can take that data all day long, but the fact of the matter is the interpretation of a data of someone, an agent that's been in the business that knows what those numbers mean and what trajectory we're on and the average appreciation and what a home buyer is willing to pay for an extra half bath and what a home buyer right now is willing to pay for an extra bedroom, and all those different things that go into that melting pot of that value. If they can't justify, if that's just like, well, that's what my gut's telling me. Yeah, no. Now you're in for trouble. You put it on the market and it's going to sit and it's not going to sell, and you're going to have to lower the price. And then you're it's
going to be a stale listing. You don't want a stale listing.
Oh, I skipped right over. Whoops, sorry about that. Janet Cruz, do agents need to be in the place you're moving to? I live around 3 hours away from by where we might move. I would not work with an agent that's 3 hours away.
No,
I would, because they don't know the area.
You need to be, we call that competency. You should not be selling where you're not competent, meaning you don't know the ins and outs. I'll give you a good example. Certain areas out in the hill country just have to be on septic. Okay. They have to have on-site sewage. And if you don't know about the septic systems, or if you don't know that particular area is on a well, and you're saying, okay, I can help you out there in the hill country, and you don't know all these little intricacies of it, you can have somebody buying something. They have no idea what they're doing with that property or how to maintain that property for daily function. That just causes a lot of problems. What I would do though is if you have a favorite agent who is, you're like, I really want to work with you, but I would prefer to work with somebody that's local. Let them refer you, and you still want to take care of your favorite agent, have them refer it to somebody,
Yep. And and 3 hours away, like most agents know people in their general vicinity. And if you have that relationship with an agent, and that's happened to me plenty of times. Like I live near Cape Cod, but I will not sell on Cape Cod.
Right.
I will not go over the bridge. Okay. I think I've done it maybe in 28 years, like twice. And that's because they were clients that were, that I knew, and they were just over the bridge and they were moving to Plymouth, and it was one of those things but for the most part, never, because it's just a different market. That being said, because I have a relationship with them, I do leave the door open. Like if you have a question, you just want to, run something by me to give you that extra level of support, 100%, call me anytime. I can help you. I'll answer your question, give you comfort, just to give you some backup. So, to be that support system. But no, you gotta work with somebody, you gotta somebody. Yeah. Amen. Good agents are gold. You know what? I trust me. We deal with them all day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Not all of them are gold. Might be cold.
To ship all the ones that are not to a remote island and let them sell each other houses.
Yeah.
See how they like
it. Love it.
And then leave with all the boats. I'm terrible. This great Kentucky.
Okay.
You're from Texas. Oh, good old Texas.
What happened? Come on back. Welcome home, Ironwood. Come on.
Oh my goodness. You guys are crazy. Here we go. Show me the data. It's like what's it? Cuba Gooding Jr. there and Tom Cruise.
I like that. I love that.
Show me the data. Show me the money.
On top, just a little tip. Don't tell anybody I told you. Here's a little tip too with that.
Oh,
not just the data, but let them show you. And I love to do this with my clients. Show you the actual homes, right? So you can see the insides of them.
Ooh.
Show me the data and show me what it looks like, because it's
You're
called
talking
the
about like
comparable.
homes for sale though, like because if you're
The
dealing
ones
with
that have
sold
closed.
data, you can't be like knock knock knock.
No.
So I know you don't know me, but like I'm using your house as a comparable property. Can I see it?
No,
Can I
no,
see
just
it?
like a link. You go to your MLS, you
It
click the
could
ones
be.
that are active, pending, and then you
Hey, it
send it
could
on
be
over.
that little old lady that is like lonely, and
Yeah,
she's like,
she'll talk to you.
"Sure, you want some tea and cookies?"
Bring your clients. Bring your clients over.
Come on now. No, you know what? I would say the next best thing is to drive by those houses. Like
All of them.
drive by the comps, drive by the comparables. You know, if you're looking at yours and you're looking at the comparable and the agent's like, oh, the comparable has a nicer yard and nicer whatever, like go
Go
drive
see
by
'em.
it. Because they should know that. But
Yeah.
you can do that for yourself. You
Go
know,
to the open houses for the ones that are active.
100%. 100%. I wonder about blood zones. Maybe flood zones.
Okay.
Blood zones. I'm like, what is happening here? Like vampire country? That's in Transylvania, selling homes in Transylvania. I don't know. Getting punchy here, folks. It's almost 7:30
Oh yeah.
Eastern
Okay.
time.
All
Getting a little
right.
punchy. Getting a little punchy. Almost time by bedtime. I looked online, Mr. Google. I can't find a map. I found the FEMA website that I can put an address in, but that is my only option to make sure. Yeah, I would go to the FEMA website.
FEMA's fine.
110%. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
So we use. I forget if there's I think that's exactly what I use.
Yeah.
To be honest.
For ours, that's connected. Our MLS system is connected to the FEMA maps, so it pulls
Yeah,
that data in.
100%. And actually, you know what? I use Mass for those if anybody is watching this that is in Massachusetts. I use a site called Mass Mapper, MASSMAPPER, and that gives you like all the topographical stuff and the flood zones. Yeah, I can go to FEMA's the way to go. Yes, thank you
Very good.
Thank you for clarifying that, flood.
Yeah. Transylvania.
Blood zones. That's the next thing coming. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Good grief, Charlie Brown. I guess the lesson was not to mess with a Texan. Don't mess with Texas.
That's great.
All right. Well, hey, Angie, I always have a good time. Always have a good time with you.
This is amazing.
And super, super happy that you took time out of your day to jump online here. I'll just let everybody know she's down in the Austin area.
Yes,
so check out her YouTube channel all about relocation. So if you're not in Texas and you are, it doesn't even matter because you do national relocation information.
I do.
If you're
my
moving
newest
state
channel.
to state, yep. If you're moving state to state, you want to check out her stuff. She absolutely kills it with her content.
So
super high quality content. And so I think you do a great job.
You're 100%. Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, hey, I speak the truth. You know that I can't lie. It's like no filter, and it's late, so even less filter. So.
Oh yeah, that's.
It's terrible. I'm gonna tell you. I'm just saying. It's just, but it's good. It's good. Trust me.
Oh my God.
If anybody needs to find an agent, oh my goodness, that's very small. If anyone needs, if you need help with getting a good agent, I am happy to help you. I send referrals all the time and work out all the agreements. But if in the link to the description below, there's a form, you fill that out. We do need to have a phone conversation. So when you submit that form, you'll get a quick email with a link to my calendar. We'll just book a 30-minute call. And because of the fact I really want to talk to you and find out what your needs are, what your pain points are, what your preferences are, what your, what hurdles you need to get over to be able to find you the right agent. And then, I'll go out and research. And I'll be honest, it takes me several days to do that because I don't automatically just get to the agent that the first agent that answers the phone. I don't. Yeah, I'm a little too OCD for that. I want to make sure I get somebody good, 100%. So you can fill that out, and I can help you out. And then I'm gonna do a shameless plug here, Angie, if that's okay.
Bring it.
Shameless plug on my passion project with my friend Jackie Baker. If anybody wants to laugh, you can check out our podcast, Reddit Real Estate Disasters. It's just a fun thing that we do with no expectations of anything. We do it just because it's fun. She reads Reddit stories, and then we talk about it. It's on the YouTubes there or any podcast platform.
You got to listen. It's good.
We have fun with that, man. It's just like we sit down for an hour and just like completely like she gets these stories that are bonkers, and we just shred it. Just shred it. It is just it's unfiltered and all the things, and it's a lot of fun. So hey, thanks so much, and thank you all for watching. Angie,
thanks, Leah.
It's been fun, and I think we should just have a little grooving.
Where's our music?
Action. You're from Austin.
Where's our music?
It's like the live music capital of the country, of the world, of the country.
Can you see my guitar? Can you see my guitar? Is that how you do it?
Austin Airport. If anybody goes down to Austin Airport really is flipping cool.
They got. By the way, there's live music too. Big guitar, and then we have live music in our airport. Local restaurants. Hey,
everybody, be kind to someone this week. Check in on your neighbor especially if in your hot area of the country, and be patient. Just be patient.
Yeah.
Be good. Okay. And enjoy. Have a good week, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
See you. I love this jam, man.
Yes. Feels like an island. Feels like we're on the islands.